are here to give information about the language policies of Brunei and the guidelines in the strengthening of their languages.
First things first, what is language policy? Language policy is what a government does either officially through legislation, court decisions, or policy to determine how languages are used, cultivate language skills needed to meet national priorities, or to establish the rights of individuals or groups to use and maintain languages. It is an official decision or decree on the status of various languages spoken in heterogeneous or multilingual communities. For example, which language will be the national or official language, which languages will be used as regional languages, and what their status will be. The importance of language policy. Language policy contributes to the growth of the field by publishing high-quality studies that help build a sound theoretical understanding of the subject area. It presents papers that deal with the widest range of cases, situations, and regions. It is critically important to develop language policies that ensure the access of minority populations to prestigious forms of national standard languages and literacies while supporting the intergenerational retentions of minority languages, both indigenous and immigrant languages. What is the goal of language policy? The language policy is an action statement which informs how students at IC learn language, about language, and through language. It provides a common understanding of aims and objective of language learning, transdisciplinary nature of language. It is to explore the challenges of constructing language policy that seeks to support learning in what may be two new unfamiliar languages without compromising students' language ability to function in the dominant language of the host community. So, why do schools need a language policy? Teaching and learning are predominantly linguistics phenomena. That is, we accomplish most our learning through the vehicle of language. Therefore, language is a tool that teachers can use to enhance cognitive development. Before we are going to finally start, let me give you some backgrounds of Brunei. Brunei is a country of Asia and the official name is State of Brunei Darussalam. It has an area of 5,765 square kilometer and a population of 450,665 as of 2018. The country is divided into 4 districts, namely Brunei Muara, Belait, Tutong, and Temburong. Temburong is an exclave. It is physically separated from the 3 other districts by the Brunei Bay and Malaysian state of Sarawak. Each district has a town as its administrative and main economic center, with the exception of Brunei Muara, where the Bandar Seri Begawan, apart from being the country's capital city, it's also the district's principal center. Brunei's official language is Standard Malay. Although it is the official language of Brunei, the Brunei Malay variety is more widely spoken. It is substantially different to Standard Malay and is spoken by about 2/3 of the population. Apart from Brunei Malay and Kedayan, the latter, which may be considered a dialect of Malay, 5 indigenous minority ethnic groups are officially recognized in Brunei, each with their own language: Tutong, Belait, Dusun, Bisaya, and Murut. However, the Muka dialect seems to be highly endangered, perhaps in a similar fashion as the Lait.
In Brunei, Malay is their official language, but English is widely used for businesses, government, and education. They have a bilingual education system in which students learn core and most other subjects in the medium of English, specifically mathematics, science, geography, and English. The remaining subjects are taught in Bahasa Melayu or their Malay language, just like here in Philippines. English is taught in primary school from preschool to 6th-year grade. At secondary level, Bruneian students follow a national curriculum in years 7 to 8 and progress to one of 3 streams: general, applied, or special applied or the vocational for upper secondary years 9 to 11. The concept of a bilingual education system is a means of ensuring the sovereignty of the Malay language. At the same time, they are able to recognize the importance of the English language. By means of the education system of Negara Brunei Darussalam, a high degree of proficiency in both languages should be achieved. The events of 1962 and 1974 had a decisive influence on the adoption of a bilingual education in Brunei, wherein they made a plan of report providing the basic structure and procedures for the present Ministry of Education, which recommended to make Malay as the main medium of instruction in the national primary and secondary schools as soon as possible, in line with the requirements of the Constitution. The importance of English language based on its importance for academic study, wherein they would be able to communicate and provide the students a higher level of education to other overseas, wherein English is the medium of instruction, and to be more competent to other people when pertaining about work or jobs on other countries. The demand today from Bruneian students is mostly for English medium programs. Brunei has adopted an education system that uses 2 languages, Standard Malay and English. Standard Malay has to be learned, even though English is clearly the more foreign. Learning the Standard Malay for the Bruneian children will less a problem than learning English. But some students are more fluent in English than Standard Malay because they are majoring that language. Standard Malay is promoted as the official language of Brunei, but Brunei Malay is socially dominant and it is currently replacing the minority languages of Brunei.
In the language policy in the Philippines, the language provision in the 1987 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, which embodied Article 14, Section 6 and 7, in Section 6, the national language of the Philippines is Filipino. As it evolves, it shall be further developed and enriched on the basis of existing Philippine and other languages. For purposes of communication and instruction, the official languages of the Philippines are Filipino and otherwise provided by law, English. Bilingual education in the Philippines defined operationally as the separate use of English and Filipino as the medium of instruction in specific subject areas, as embodied in the Dex Order Number 25 Filipino, which changed to Filipino in 1987, shall be used as medium of instruction in social studies, social sciences, music, arts, physical education, home economics, practical arts, and character education. English, on the other hand, is allocated to science, mathematics, and technology subjects. The policy in bilingual education aims at the achievement of competence in both Filipino and English at the national level through the teaching of both languages and their use as media of instruction at all levels.
At present, minority languages do not have any space in public education in Brunei, while Mandarin Chinese is taught as subject only in 2 private schools. All other subjects being taught in Malay and English, like in all government schools in Brunei. The total absence of minority languages in education in Brunei obviously also applies to Iban and Murut. In neighboring Sarawak, both Iban and Murut has been the object of language planning, though only to a limited extent. For instance, a few publications are available in both languages, particularly in Iban, but they have hardly managed to find their way to Brunei. Whereas, a few radio programs from Sarawak can be listened to in Brunei. As far as compulsory education is concerned, Iban has been used as a subject of instruction in a few Malaysian schools since the 1980s as pupils' own language, which means that some of the Iban textbooks that have been produced for that purpose could in theory be used in Brunei as well, in the unlikely event that Iban were to be introduced into primary or secondary education. While in the Philippines is a multi-ethnic country consisting of about 180 languages, to some extent, the language policy has influenced the abandonment of some Philippine languages. When bilingual education was implemented in 1970, Filipino became the medium of instruction at the elementary level. However, in non-Tagalog areas, the vernacular language was used as the medium of instruction from grade 1 to grade 4 and Filipino in grade 5. In addition to Filipino, English was offered as a double-period subject in grade 5 and grade 6. In the intermediate level and high school, both English and Filipino were used as media of instruction. In the 1973, an attempt to change the system was made where the use of vernacular language was implemented as the medium of instruction in grade 1 and grade 2 with English and Filipino as subjects. In grade 3, English was the medium of instruction with Filipino as a subject. However, this policy was not accepted immediately by the public and it resulted in revision of the policy in the same year where English and Filipino were used as media of instruction at all levels.
To sum it up, Brunei and Philippines are both a diverse country, and Brunei has similarities to the language programs and policies of our country, Philippines. Both countries use their official languages and English language as a medium of instruction and education for every subject related to the language. English for learning and educating, every student will create and provide a high quality of knowledge education. Brunei and Philippines are aiming to make everyone a better future, communication, education, and be competent in every situation that they may face.
We hope you learned and understood the information that we had given and discussed to you about the language policies of Brunei and its different